under talked about. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go
under
with
the
it.
radar.
Okay, under the radar. I liked under the talk with it. Under talked about DBs in all of football.
we need a graphic and animation. All right, time now for the under talked about DBs in football.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Chris Sims, and nobody butchers the English language quite like I do. Thank you very much. I don't even know if that's butchering the English language. That's just dumb.
You know what I know, but what I give you credit for. This is what I
Right.
give you credit for. You say that. We've never heard that before. You just made that up, but everyone knows what it means, right?
Yes.
Under
yes.
talked about cornerbacks in football.
I have a lot
Clear.
of those things. I know. This is a Simsism, I guess, you could, to a degree.
Yeah,
you know, you're sweeping them under the radar. You're reading between the tea leaves, whatever you want to say. Under talked about.
Under talked about.
And you got the point.
And it will become a thing now.
Yeah, baby. Ahmed Fareed's here. What's up, man? How are you?
What's going on?
I'm doing good. Championship Sunday was fun.
You got to watch him from home.
I got to watch him from home. It was a blast. It really was. I enjoyed the day. Made a big fire, cold winter day here in the Northeast.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. You know, probably caught about, 400 passes yesterday. You know, because I got to play catch with my son before the game, halftime, after the game, halftime again.
So you rush outside.
Rush outside.
Right after the final whistle of the first half.
Oh, it's like, Dad, get ready. Come on, hurry up, Dad. Put your shoes on. Be ready to go as soon as, because, you know, he knows how quick that halftime is. But it was great.
Is he going to be a quarterback or a wide receiver?
I think he wants to be a quarterback, I think. He's a Sims, okay? Come on.
I know. I'm just,
All right, you know, come on. You know what the family
Usually,
business
you got
is.
good hands, though.
I do.
You could have been a wide receiver, maybe, or maybe a tight end if you put on some more weight.
But what a Super Bowl we got.
This is what it's been.
Yeah.
When there were 8 teams, you said, these are the best 8 teams.
Right.
And then when there were 4 teams, you go, we got the best 4 teams.
Right.
Did we get the best 2 teams,
Did we get the best 2 teams? We definitely did. I
think
agree.
we did. We got the best 2 teams.
I do. I think, well, listen, I picked these 2 teams to win this weekend.
Yeah.
I think clearly we know Kansas City was better than Buffalo.
Yes.
So that's not a discussion. The other game, there's maybe a little more discussion than I intended there to be, but I think honestly, still at the end of the day, Tampa Bay was the better football team. You know, that's all there is to it. And we'll break it down. I've watched a lot of that game back on film already. Not like deep dive, but I've watched all the big plays to deep dive into those and know the situations and everything like that. But, man, Brady, Mahomes, I mean, my old franchise, the Buccaneers, the Glazier family, I'm so happy for them. I'm really happy for the Buccaneers in general. The Brady story is amazing. You know, to be playing their first Super Bowl at home like that, that's special.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Which is a stat that you will hear probably 7,000 times between now
I'm already
and
sick
kickoff.
of it, actually.
It's crazy.
I know.
I was sick of it, and like the game had just ended. And I was like, all right, I've heard that 3 times now. And I will probably say it on the pod. And we will be hosting the
and
Super Bowl
Jerome
for the
Bettis
first
is from
time
Detroit.
ever.
It's like that whole thing again. It really is. Pete's right. He got in the ear. He's like Super Bowl 40 when he was playing for the Steelers going home to Detroit. It's all we heard. This one, it's all we've heard really all weekend.
Win one for the thumb.
Win one for the thumb. But we got to talk. Where do you want to start?
So
Brady,
we'll get into, obviously, we're going to get into the Chiefs-Bills game later on. We'll talk about some weird quarterback stuff going on, too, including with Green Bay, the future of some of these quarterbacks,
we'll
future
talk about
destinations.
Sure.
We'll talk about that. We bury the 2 teams that we lost here with Requiem for a Team, so we'll get to that. But this is where we start. Buccaneers and Packers. You've always been a fan of Aaron Rodgers. You wrote a song for him. You've sung it for years now.
Yes.
Are you finally willing to admit that Tom Brady is the rightful GOAT and Aaron Rodgers now has to take second fiddle to the greatness that was Tom Brady? Because he has done it again for the first time in the NFC going to the Super Bowl.
Listen, he's amazing. I know, as usual, I know people think I'm a Brady hater, and I'm not. I'm really not.
Do I get sick of some Brady of the disliker?
Well, I get sick of some of the people that always just talk and just make it about Brady. Like nobody else has ever helped him ever before. And that's where I fight back. It's really against those people, not necessarily against Tom Brady. He's amazing. He's the GOAT. He's just not the best quarterback I've ever seen. I mean, he's the GOAT. Yeah, sure. If you want me to say that, he's the GOAT. He's got all the hardware. There's no doubt about it. But I've seen better quarterbacks, okay? I'm just going to say it. That's the way I feel about it. But either way, what he did this year and for this team is impressive. There's no denying that. And, he gave the team the confidence, what I said even in the show this morning, the confidence and the polish to get to this point where they are. And then I'll say this too. The way he came out playing early in the first quarter for a team that hasn't been there or done that, he comes out throwing strikes. Now we can win.
First drive.
We got Tom Brady.
3rd and long.
That's what I mean.
Got it. 3rd and long.
Boom,
Got it.
boom,
3rd and long.
clutch.
3 third and longs.
3 third and longs. 3 awesome throws. All there. That sets the tone for your football team, right? So all those things are amazing. He's the clutchest quarterback I've ever seen. I've never seen a quarterback do it as good as he has that consistently for as long as we've seen. I don't debate that either. So there's that. That's all you're going to get from me.
On Brady,
well, because there always is. There always is. But there's some praise in this game too that we'll get into it. Where I hear like when I get done watching games yesterday, I turn on TV, and see this is what makes me into a Brady hater, Ahmed, because this is where I turn on talk shows and things, and people talk about like, he saved the day, and he was the man, and he was the reason they won, and he did it over Rodgers. And that's where then I become, wait, no, that's not reality. That's hot take right there. And I'm going to start talking to reality now as we break this game down.
So let me give you the line of Tom Brady. He was 20 of 36.
Right.
280 yards.
Yep.
3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, right? That's his line.
Yeah.
If you had told me a year ago that was the line of Jameis Winston,
sure,
I would have said, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
You know, some big plays, a lot of yards, and some bonehead picks.
Yeah.
And what would we have been saying after the game? The Buccaneers are going to the Super Bowl despite Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we'd be saying.
I know.
We would not be saying, he carried the team. If we saw that stat line in that exact game, really, if we saw that exact game from Jameis Winston, we'd be like, yeah, he makes some great plays, makes some dumb plays. Luckily, they got a good enough team that could make up for it.
But it's all the good plays and things he did in December, though, that put them in the position to at least be in the spot that I don't think Jameis Winston could have done.
That's
right.
Sure.
So that's where we'll argue for Brady, even though you're right. Yesterday, it was the tale of 2 halves, really. I mean, the first half was really damn good. The second half was not really damn good. And that's what we'll break into it. But either way, I do think the Bucs are here because of Brady, as we know. And yes, he didn't mismanage and make as many bad mistakes during the season as the Jameis Winston did. So they had a fight to be 8-8 or 7-9 or 9-7 or whatever it is. Yeah, he had a few slip-ups here and there, but he was, for the most part, consistent all the way through, and that led to the 11-5. And then, hey, let's get into the playoffs. And, okay, we didn't play our best game against Washington, but, hey, you still played good, and we played good, and we got a little bit better. Okay, we didn't play our best game against the Saints, but we still got good, you did good, and we got a little bit better, and then that leads you to this moment. And, yeah, it wasn't his best team day, but the team was ready for the moment, too.
So I want to get to the end of the game. But first, this one comes from Chubster82.
Right.
Said, what has Brady got to do for you to realize he's the greatest of all time? So from this point forward, what would he need to do for you to flip the script?
Well,
play till 50, win 5 more Super Bowls?
I don't know. Listen, I have so much respect. I really
get it.
Respect him, love him. I understand that. Who was our guy there that just asked
Chubster82.
Chubster82. I've seen him on my Twitter feed before and all that. I mean, Chubster, he's the GOAT, okay? But only from a hardware standpoint. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's the greatest quarterback I've ever seen play the game. I'm not. You're never going to hear that out of my mouth. You know, and to me, let's just start right there. Yesterday is the microcosm of both of their careers. Here we go, okay? This really is. It almost says it all. I mean, here's Brady's 3rd playoff game with 3 interceptions, and he wins them. All 3 he's won. He's thrown 3 interceptions in 3 playoff games. He's won.
First to ever do that.
First to ever do it.
NFL playoff history.
Aaron Rodgers is the first to ever lose 3 games with throwing 3 touchdown passes and 1 or less interceptions. So there you go with that. This is Brady's, at least his 4th Super Bowl appearance, okay? I'm on full Brady hater mode right now, so you can hear it. I'm just throwing, these aren't haters. These are stats, and this is reality. It's not hater when you're telling the truth, okay? It's his 4th championship game where he's been outplayed by the other team's quarterback, and he gets to go to the Super Bowl. You know, you talk about this game yesterday. You talk about Mahomes 2 years ago. Brady threw 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. They went to the Super Bowl. Talk about the Ravens. They beat the Ravens to go to play the Giants in 2011. This 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He gets to go play the Super Bowl. The Chargers, 2007 AFC Championship game. He throws 3 interceptions. They get to go to the Super Bowl. So, again, here was the game yesterday. And I know, I love Aaron Rodgers. Deal with it. I don't know what else to tell you. He's the best I've ever seen, all right, to this point. But here's one guy who had to play perfect. He couldn't play a 97 game or a 98 game. He had to play a 100 game for his team to maybe win the game. Here's another guy where the team is literally going, hey, if you just play your 80%, we're going to win. Oh, wait, you're playing a 65% game? Don't worry, we'll win anyways. And there's a difference there. So I don't know any other way to say it. I just wear my heart on my sleeve, and that's what jumps out to me more than anything. And watching the film back of the game, Ahmed, I feel even stronger and more emboldened to say that stuff right now.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's going to argue that Brady has better weapons around him, better offensive weapons.
You think?
Devontae Adams had 15 targets. I mean, basically Aaron Rodgers has got
It's one guy.
him.
And he dropped a touchdown pass.
He
that was a
did. That
huge
hurt him.
moment of the game, right?
So let's go to the end of the game first.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go
You lead
to
the show here.
to the big. Well, I mean, I did
know.
not anticipate you getting that fired. I knew you'd get fired up
I do.
about Brady and Rodgers.
It's
I didn't
not
think it would be at
about
that
Brady
level.
and Rodgers. It's about the crap I hear on TV and radio everywhere. I can't take it. I can't take it. So sorry.
Okay. All right. Everyone's on
That's-
notice. If you're going to ask Chris about
It's
Brady
not about Brady
or
or
Rodgers?
Rodgers. I love them, but you just better not come with some stupid take with me, because then I'm going to throw real facts at you.
So what'd you think about this take at the end of the game with LaFleur and the now controversial
Yeah.
4th and goal? So because I think like you do have the two narratives. You have the Brady and the Rodgers, and
Right.
Brady's done it again. You got that narrative, and then you have the other narrative that is LaFleur stole what could have been a great finish from us.
Well, okay, go ahead.
It was 3rd and goal.
Yep.
From the 8. Rodgers could have run it there. Perhaps there's some open grass.
right.
And if he does that, they probably do go for it
Yeah.
on 4th down if
That's
it's 4th
right.
and 2.
You can
Even if
fourth
he
and
doesn't
four,
get
fourth
in.
and 3, they're probably going to go. You're right.
Exactly. I think
Right.
LaFleur even said that. 4th and 8 made it a difficult choice
Yes.
to go for it there. Because I will say, and to steal one of your phrases, I looked at the rule book. Rodgers could have scored 1st and goal from the 8, 2nd goal from the 8, or 3rd and goal from the 8.
Exactly
that is
right.
allowed to.
They were allowed to, right?
To not get to a 4th and goal from the 8. But what was your gut when they sent the field goal unit out there?
My gut is I didn't love it. I don't think, again, I'm not. I understand the logic a little. I get it. Their defense had been made turnovers, right? They had stopped the Bucs. But I think there's more to it than just that. First off, I think you have to go, wait, did we stop the Bucs, or did one guy just make some really stupid decisions and give us the ball?
Yeah.
And I would go, that was the first thing, because they didn't really stop him. They moved the ball down, and he just made some bad decisions. So that would be the first thing I would say. Second of all, there's just no guarantee you're going to get down there. You just went the 2 series before, and it was 3 and out, where you couldn't move the ball a lick against this defense. So now you're down there, you got to take your chance. All right, now, if you don't make it, okay, let's just say that. They're pinned back in their own area, still with just a 1-score lead. And they're going to have to manage the game in some sort of a safe fashion when you're backed up in your own end zone. They're not just going to be like, oh, let's go for it. No risk it, no biscuit. No, it's going to make them change, or at least I'd like to think it would. But at the very least, it's an 8-point lead, and there's a little more than 2 minutes, and you got Aaron Rodgers, and with all due respect, you got the GOAT on the other side, the guy who's got more rings and been in this damn situation more than anybody. Chances are he's going to close it out. Chances are. I would have bet money that when he got the ball back that they were going to get the first down and close it out. All right, so I guess that's where I got the issue with it.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
The gut was like, go for it.
Right.
This is the end of this is your
It's it.
season. You got
It's
Aaron
it.
Rodgers. You're right. The other team has Tom Brady, who can get a first down. And that's all they really
Right.
needed. 1 or 2 first
You
downs.
back them up, maybe you put more pressure on them by not making it, too.
Yeah.
So now maybe they do run it all 3 downs, and you have the timeout, and now you get the ball back in pretty good field position, and maybe you have a chance again.
But you do look at the numbers, and I know you love looking at the analytics side of it. It was pretty even. If they went by win probability and how often a team
Was
gets.
it?
Yeah, it was.
I'm shocked,
How often
actually.
a team converts a 4th down and 8. Because when you think about it, okay, they had to get a 4th and 8.
Right.
4th and goal there, which they weren't able to do the first 3.
No.
So what do they have? Like a 30% chance of getting that? Then you got to get the 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
What do you got? Like a 50% chance of getting that? And even if you do both of those, you're still in a tie game.
Yeah.
And you're going to overtime, or Tom Brady has 2 minutes to drive down the field and
maybe
get him
kick a
into
field
field goal
goal.
range.
Right.
So even if everything goes right and you go for it, I'll bet you still the numbers favored Tampa to win that game.
What did the probability go to, though, once they made the field goal? I just wonder what it was like after. Like, where did it sway to at that point? And Pete's going to look it up. But I'm interested. Either way, listen, like I said, I don't look at it. I think
it wasn't like one of these things like, oh, he robbed us of what. Like, it was just like we would have liked to have seen it, but it was defensible.
It was defensible. It is defensible.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done it. I don't think you would have done it either. No. You go down swinging with your best punch, and that's Aaron Rodgers. Yep. He's the guy that got you there. Now, listen, I know they had struggles. They got held to a field goal. We just mentioned that earlier in the game. Red zone wasn't easy for them necessarily. So I think there was that concern there too.
Which it had been this season. They were very good in the red zone.
Very good.
And you got to give credit to Tampa here, stopping them.
Tampa deserves a ton of credit. That's what I was going to say. Like, people saying, oh, LaFleur robbed us. No. LaFleur didn't rob us of anything right there. There was no. The Packers robbed us. The Packers robbed us in many different opportunities throughout that football game. They blew it in every play that was a 50-50 type play, okay? Tampa won it almost throughout the football game, other than a few plays where Rodgers made plays. Other than that, it was Tampa's day across the board. And then, Tampa just being the bigger, more physical team, the team that lends itself to playing freer in this type of game and environment. Yeah, Bruce Arians type teams. It's like Andy Reid. They don't care. It's no risk it, no biscuit. We're coming out to make plays. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to throw our body around. The emotions of the game to me yesterday were very apparent that there was more of a physicality and a craziness to the Buccaneers than there was to the Packers, I thought, watching it. I don't know how you felt about it, but I thought they were clearly the bigger, more physical football team on the field, too, and that showed.
Well, they just have more playmakers.
That's really
and
what
I already mentioned on the offensive side, but you look at the defensive side, and White and David and Sue. It's just like more guys
Barrett,
who are
JPP.
Exactly.
We didn't even hear Zadarius Smith or Preston Smith yesterday. I literally got done with the show today, and I texted Pete. I said, just to speak to it, because we didn't get to hit everything on the game today, I just said, think about it. Their names weren't even talked about yesterday. They were not factors. They're supposed to be on the level of JPP and Shaq Barrett, and they were not. They were clearly outclassed in that department. But I think you said it. That's exactly right. It's a team that's got studs all over the field in Tampa Bay, and they made big plays and just played a game of no fear, where I feel like they played they played to win, and the Packers kind of played a game not to lose overall.
Per PFF, and Pete put this note in there about Brady. He was pressured on just 5 of his 37 dropbacks, 13%.
Yeah.
He was 0 for 4 with an interception and a sack on those plays when he was pressured. So we talked about it in the Washington game.
Right.
Keeping him upright was going to be a
huge
priority.
Right.
They were able to do it then, able to do it in this game. So a lot of credit to the offensive line there.
No doubt. They're beasts.
Tampa.
They're beasts.
They are.
They can, and to even speak to that point even more, Ahmed, they're beasts. This is when you know a team's a beast, and this is when I like watching these kind of teams. They ran one run play the whole game. They ran 2 run plays. Excuse me. They had one play where they pulled a guard at one point. The rest of the game, they ran one play. They just said, "F you. We're just going to come straight." And our guy's going to go straight.
Yeah.
And if you punch in too much, he'll bounce outside. But if there's a little hole, he's just going to smash it in there.
Which at the end of the game was a little curious because it was like setting up 2nd and 8.
I know.
I
know. But they were going to stay patient with it.
They did.
That's what they are. They want to run the ball, impose their physicality, and then Brady's going to make big throws, off of that with max protection, like you're saying, or play action pass or anything like that. So, But there's just so many major points to hit on in the football game. I don't even know. I'm like flabbergasted in my brain.
Let me go to when
end of the first half.
Let me go. No, let's not do that yet.
Yeah, okay.
We'll do that in a second because that one was. I still don't understand what happened.
Nobody does.
Let's do end of the game once Brady gets the ball back.
Yeah.
A lot being made of defensive pass interference.
Right.
By King, Kevin King. I think we have a picture of it, Kristen, of the undershirt pull, and these are. I'll tell you what, is that like a normal undershirt, or are we talking like some Under Armour spandex?
Well, that's what kind of shirt. I mean, it's a long white T-shirt or a long, dry fit type of Nike shirt or whatever that is.
That's a super stretch.
This used to not be allowed in the NFL.
What do you mean?
Used to have to tuck in your undershirts.
Oh.
You weren't allowed to do this.
Maybe
They let this go. You can see
Maybe-
how Green Bay, nobody else has a shirt hanging out of their.
Yeah.
But no, they let this go this day and age.
Because it's so tempting to pull by the defender, and then once he pulls it, you can draw the penalty right there.
Well,
but That picture alone, it is.
Pass interference.
Was it catchable? I don't know. It's hard to say because once you alter receiver's route, it becomes. I don't think it was a well-thrown ball. And you mentioned the same thing to me before we started.
No,
here.
it was uncatchable. The ball. I mean, he missed the throw. The ball. The guy was going this way.
If he's not interfered with, he doesn't catch that.
There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Brady missed the throw completely. But I have no problem with the call. I don't. You know, listen, in the game. All right. Well, this is my only problem with the throw. One little problem. It's just that, like, nothing was called all game. Nothing. I mean, nothing. They let them play. They weren't going to interfere in what was going on in the field. And then they picked that play to jump in?
Chris Purr says classic Tom Brady effect. Refs were allowing minimal contact like that all game, but throw the latest flag ever seen when the game is on the line.
It is very late, which is weird too. Like the guy in center field, you could see it on the coach's film. He ball hits the ground. He literally goes like this 3 times, waves incomplete, then grabs his flag and throws it. I've never really seen that. That was weird to me. Usually guys are already pulling at their thing and looking ready to throw, and they throw it, and then they run in and wave incomplete. That to me tells me he wasn't sure what to do, whatever it was. Either way, for even a game like this where they were letting things go, okay, I still think that was too egregious to not call it. I don't know. I know Pete. I don't know if Pete necessarily agrees with me. I don't know what you agree with me there. That's a tough one. But that was very
just because
it was very egregious.
Well, Kristen, do you have those photos from earlier in the game too, where the Bucs defense are holding on here? So yeah, I mean,
so this bothers me.
The fact that this was on the interception right here.
This is the interception before the half.
Huge turning point in the game.
Right.
This might be the turning point. Honestly,
it could be
in the entire game.
Yes.
And that is pass interference. This is pass interference.
Yeah,
but
this is the third down, second last drive. He throws a crosser to Lazard, and I mean that was pretty bad too. He's gonna have room to run away from this guy if he doesn't get pulled like that. Either way, he should have caught the ball. Rodgers threw an unreal throw, and Lazard put his hands the wrong way. He put them this way instead of like this, and that was an issue. But yes, keep going, Ahmed.
I think, and then we have Devin White on Devontae Adams here, releasing into the end zone.
This is the third and goal where he's going to get the ball where Rodgers could have ran maybe, right?
Right.
Which, listen, just on this play, just so we hit on that, third and goal. Rodgers, if he ran up into the hole here on this play and just right away said, I'm going to run it.
Kristen, I think we have the dots for this play.
Do we have the dots?
Yeah, for the Rodgers third
go
and goal.
To that. Yeah, let's hit it.
Because you made a good point on this,
Well, I think if he's like, if he started to run and just tucked it right away and ran, yes, I think he might have scored. But as he's moving up here, and this is where, we can't see all the details here, he's still looking and pumping downfield. So, okay, pump. Now he throws it. Like, the fact that he was pumping and doing all that, and then if he tried to tuck it and run, I don't think he gets in. I don't. I think Sue is going to get him from behind, who's hit full speed. And I think JPP is going to be right there around the 2 or 3 yard line, too, to get him. It's going to be close. Like I said, I think if he right from the get-go went, wait, I'm stepping up, I'm tucking, and I'm running, okay, I think maybe he gets. But that's not the way he plays. It's like, it's Mahomes, it's Rodgers. They move up in the pocket, and they try to beat you with their arm first, and then, oh, wait, nothing's there, and then I'm going to run. And I think after he got done, doing this and this, and then he thought, ooh, maybe I should run, I think he realized, oh, crap, I'm not going to make it, so let me try to throw a quick one in there. And that was that.
Yeah, if he had run, he would have gotten at least a couple of yards.
Yes.
They probably go for it,
right.
is the point there. But to button up the other point,
let's go back
on the pass interferences,
right.
Like I would be more upset if I was a Packer fans on all the pass interferences that were not caught instead of the one that are called, instead of the one that was called. You know what I mean? It's like that. I'm sorry. Pass interference is pass interference. Just because it wasn't called earlier in the game, it still was. Kevin King's pulling on the jersey. I'm sorry, that's pass interference.
I agree.
Now, I am upset that we didn't get some of those calls earlier in the game.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
I'm more upset about that than I am about the final.
I agree with that, too. And listen, if you had to just say who got the short stick of all that stuff, I would say Green Bay, obviously. Yeah. I think there was more plays on Green Bay's offense where you went and got, oh, that looked like they were holding him there. I mean, we just showed a handful, and there's a few others. But the big one, okay, so we both have agreed that we're okay with that being called. It was egregious.
Correct.
That Kevin King reached like that. Yeah, sorry, the guy had a long T-shirt on, and that exposed it even more. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, very stretchy T-shirt.
Right, but either way,
Suspicious.
that was egregious, and I have no problem with that being called. But I think the point is it's a little annoying because the game wasn't called that way, and there was probably one or two egregious ones on Tampa Bay that were not called. And specifically, let's go back to the first picture of the interception throw to Murphy Bunting, because that was a huge moment in the game.
Yep.
It's 14-10, all right? You know, Rodgers throws this ball in the fourth quarter down the middle on the same coverage. The same coverage, and hits, I believe it was, I want to say Valdez-Scantling down the middle, maybe a little later on in the game. But, you know, you see this right here. And this is, if you're watching, Murphy Bunting at this point he's already pulling himself into the coverage spot. He is, before this, his arm was even extended and he was trailing even more. He was beat. So this is him now. I've pulled the guy back and allowed myself to make a break on the ball. That's where it's bad. And that's where, like, if you're Aaron Rodgers or a Green Bay fan, you wake up this morning and you probably throw up in the toilet because you feel like you got ripped off. You know, so you have that right there.
Where if you complete that pass, you're at the 50-yard line.
And there
you
might
got 30 seconds left.
Might
you can
get a
field goal.
14-13 halftime. Right, exactly right. But either way, the double whammy was that it got intercepted. Lazard couldn't even make a play on the ball because he was pulled off. So he couldn't even try to break it up because he was pulled off balance. But then, of course, we know what happens after that. It becomes first, second down, third down. We're going to punt the ball. Oh, wait, we're going to come back out.
Which was a great call, which I think we need to give them a lot of credit, Tampa Bay, because they had pulled Tom off the field.
Great call.
They were going to punt because there were, 8 seconds left?
Yeah, 8 seconds left. So it was a great call. Well, it was 8 seconds going into the last play where he throws the touchdown.
Yep.
So, but they have the 4th and 4, all right?
Yep.
I want to back it up to a play before because it's another example of Green Bay shitting down their leg, all right? Brady throws an interception on the right sideline. The safety, it's second down. It's third down, excuse me. It hits him in both hands. He's got 4 feet of room. The half's over right there. Instead, he missed it, the easiest interception of his year. They convert the 4th down, and then the next play, Green Bay decides to call the dumbest defense in the history of conference championship football.
So that brings us to our film deep dive presented by Applebee's. Chris calls it the dumbest what? The dumbest
defense in conference championship history. I mean,
Chris has gone through he's a historian. We all know this. You remember a lot of
I'm pretty
plays.
good.
You really
right,
do.
Right.
So if you're calling this the dumbest defense ever, I tend to believe you. So here's the situation. You got 8 seconds left. It is 4th down on this one. You figure if you don't get it, and this is why I thought it was genius. You know, wow, if you don't give it, you give the Packers a chance. Well, yeah, with 3 seconds from the 50.
Right, exactly right.
It's like, what are they going to do there?
Not a big. It's the reward is worth the risk. There is what you're telling Bruce Arians, which I agree with you 100%.
But here to set it up even more.
Right.
Tampa has no timeouts anymore.
Right.
So the idea that they're going to throw a 5 or 10 yard pass and call timeout and set up a 50-something yard field goal, you can't do it. You'd have to throw it to the sidelines, which, by the way, the formation, they were all bunched in, so there was no way they were going to get to the sideline in time anyway.
Exactly right.
So, let's take us through the play.
They get the 4th and 4 conversion. They call the timeout, right? Leonard Fournette. Great play by Brady. Gets it off, has a little pressure, throws it. Fournette kind of in between two guys, catches it and rolls. First down.
Right.
Now we got the play, right? 8 seconds left. You said it. There's no timeouts. This is where I don't understand Green Bay's thought process at all. So I guess they're playing a defense to take away the middle of the field a little bit. But why? Like you just said it.
No timeouts.
If they throw a 6-yard completion over the middle, the half's over. The half is over. Now, what's the one thing you don't want to happen? All right?
What happened?
Don't play. Well, yeah, and don't play it yet. But don't play it yet. But this, if you look at this right here, this is a defense, which this is what's the weirdest part about it all. It's a defense that allows an offense to throw a ball outside and stop the clock. That's what I don't understand. They literally played a defense like, hey, did you guys want 5 more yards to throw it out of bounds and get better field goal position? Sure, we'll let you do that. But, I mean, Brady must have dropped back. Arians just said, the hell with it, take a shot. because they ran go routes on both sides, and he's got Mike Evans on the right side if he wanted to throw it to him. Now play it, Pete. He drops back. They keep in Gronk to max protect. They keep Fournette in, max protect. I don't know. I guess Kevin King was anticipating some sort of out route to do that. Either way, great. Let him throw the out route. I don't know. We don't give up touchdowns to not give up 8-yard completions. I don't understand that. So the play was wrong. The messaging that you send to your defense with the defensive play call is wrong. And that to me was one of the, confusing moments of the game. There's a number of moments with Green Bay, player-wise, coach-wise, whatever you want to say, where you just go, I don't understand what they're doing there. Why would you play that defense in that moment? It makes no sense in any capacity as far as managing that situation.
Makes no sense. 39-yard touchdown, 21-10 at the half.
Huge, great
and
throw.
Then you go into the second half.
Yeah.
And what is it, third play?
Yes.
It was the, third
Shallow
play of the
cross.
second half.
Right.
Jordan Whitehead, big hit on Aaron Jones, who took a couple of big hits in the game.
He did, both from Jordan Whitehead.
Yeah, and I think he fumbled both of them.
Right.
And I felt bad for him. I was like, you got to hold on to the ball, but I don't think any human could have held on to the ball in either one of those situations. Devin White recovers. First play after, you got an 8-yard touchdown.
Bam.
To Cameron Brate. Boom.
Trouble.
It is 28-10, but that is also the point where this idea of momentum died as well, because everything indicated from that point, it's like, wow, the Bucs have the lead, they have the momentum, but everything from that point forward for another quarter and a half was all Green Bay.
It was.
It was really impressive by the Packers offense. Aaron Rodgers kicked it into gear. They go through 8-play, 75-yard drive to score with the 8-yard Tunyon. It was the point in the game where it was like, wow, this game is over. And that is exactly the point where the Packers looked like the Packers.
No doubt. It's like they kind of just get, okay, let's play to win. They stopped trying to manage the game or whatever. They just got aggressive and stopped hey, let's just throw it all at them and let number 12 drop back and throw the ball and make some plays. And I think that's where they did get their momentum, let alone, just like at everything. It's a weird situation in the football world. When you go up 28-10, two things happen. Defensive coordinators go a little bit I don't want to take too many chances. And offensive coordinators go, we're going to lose, so I'm just going to call every play that I like. I don't care. It's first down. We're attacking. The hell with that run play I was going to run. Off, whatever. Throw it. And so it's like a double whammy on both sides. And, they found tremendous rhythm on that side of the ball. It wasn't easy. Even the next series, it was a 13-play drive, 68-yard drive.
Yep.
But, it was good enough protection, and they just ran a lot of different concepts and things like that, and Rodgers got, going into a rhythm, like you said. But what happened is they make it 28-23. They get the ball 2 times, down 28-23. And really, the biggest thing I can say is, the Bucs had a good game plan, like on the Aaron Jones fumble, right, that you talk about at the half. They were ready for those pick crossers all game. They weren't going to let Rodgers and them. They showed 2-man, right? 2-man. The safeties will be deep. It's man underneath. Rodgers is smart. He gets the plays. And, okay, we'll pick underneath, and I'll throw one of those, and we'll get a 3rd and 6 and get 7 or 8 yards for a first down, right? Well, they made it seem like 2-man, but they came down and just looked for the crossers and those. It's like they knew Green Bay would go to those plays, and that led to the Whitehead hit and doing all of that, the big plays for their team altogether. But the big thing was, Ahmed, just to wrap it up on this side of the ball, the Bucs D-line they dominated the fourth quarter for the most part, and especially those 2 series where the Packers had a chance to have the ball and go take a lead. The Bucs D-line made a play in every one of those series to kind of throw the drives off kilter. And, and then, of course, Brady and them got the ball back and kicked the field goal and really put the pressure on them at the end.
So let me button that up.
Yeah.
That was the Film Deep Dive presented by Applebee's. And on the touchdown at the end of the first half, there's so much that happened. My brain can't handle all the things that happened in this game.
Listen, let me just.
The more we get into it, the more I'm like, wow, we have to get into this part of the game too. It's like there's so much.
There's so many things. I mean, there's why are we playing so much man-to-man on the first drive of the game early on in the game? Kevin King, what's he doing playing the ball on the first touchdown? That was unbelievable. I mean, you have that aspect of it. You have how things shook out at the end of the first half. You're right about that. The fumble, at the start of the third quarter, the mismanagement at the end of the football game and stuff like that with Matt LaFleur and all of that. But really on the field, though, in every big moment like we talked about, the Bucs made the play for the most part.
Yeah.
They really did.
So let me throw this one at you. Caleb Beard says, why weren't the pass concepts getting open consistently for the Packers? Because there were times after Tom Brady throws the interception, you go, Aaron Rodgers got the ball after a pick.
Right.
They didn't convert. There were some times, I think they had, 2 possessions late where they could have gone ahead on either one of them, and they did not.
Right.
So Caleb Beard wants to know what the Bucs did there to stymie the Packers, because they were without 2 of their safeties, 2 of their starting safeties.
They played very good man-to-man coverage throughout. They did a really good job. There's no doubt about that. The biggest thing is, like I kind of laid it out there, though. It's the pass rush.
Yeah.
Those 2 drives you're talking about, okay? It's 28-23. Green Bay gets the ball. First down, he throws an incomplete pass to Davante Adams. Second down, he throws the ball to Jamal Williams for 5 yards. Third down, he's got no chance. He gets sacked by Shaq Barrett, who runs over the right tackle. End of drive. It had nothing to do with coverage or anything there. It's just, it doesn't matter. You're going down when you get pressured like that. So there goes that drive. Tampa Bay goes Brady throws the interception. And then we have Rodgers sacked at the Green Bay 24 for 0 yards. Rodgers incomplete deep right to Valdez-Scantling. And then Rodgers incomplete short to Allen Lazard, right? And even the sack at I don't remember which play that was, but pass rush was part of the issue there too, is what I was getting to. One of those was a play action pass where he's got Davante Adams deep and Valdez-Scantling coming on a crossing route. And the ball that he was throwing it, and it got tipped in the air just as he was throwing. Do you remember that? In the early fourth quarter, it fell into no man's land. Nobody got it or anything like that. I mean, he's got Valdez-Scantling wide open for a 25-yard completion. I mean, wide. But the pass rush got there, and he didn't allow him to throw the ball cleanly.
Let's throw a damn out there for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers while we're heaping praise on them. Kristen, do we have the music? I always like a little musical interlude in Chris Sims' Unbuttoned.
Damn. Okay. I'm okay. Damn. I'm okay. Yeah, no, yes. I'm okay. Illegal gambleizing. Oh, baby. I am Chris Sims. I'm okay. Damn. Okay.
We needed that to take a deep breath here. This one comes from Mehmet305, and he's talking about my guy. Bowls in this house. There's Todd Bowles in this house. There's Todd Bowles in this house. Certified freak. Yeah. 7 days a week, at least on Sundays, for Todd Bowles here. Defensive coordinator for the Bucs. He goes that his defense came ready for battle, especially after the Brady turnovers. They reached another level, which it is. They gave up 6 points off those 3 turnovers. Conversely, Tampa scored 14 off a couple turnovers for Green Bay. They had better field position when they got those turnovers, though. But you give some credit to Todd Bowles because it was a little more, they were getting the pressure. They didn't need to be necessarily as aggressive with it because they were able to get it naturally
with the front four.
Individual play of the front four. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, but that was, to me, the approach was just right. Like, hey, my front four is good. I'm going to let them do a lot of work, and I'm just going to throw a splash of a 5th blitzer in there every now and then. And it was the right combination for what they were trying to do. I think overall he had a pretty good feel for how Green Bay was trying to attack him. And I think the thing I'll give him most credit for is, let his guys play. He trusted his DBs. They played a lot of man-to-man in the football game. And he went, I trust you. Here we go. Of course, that's what led to Valdez-Scantling catching a 50-yard touchdown pass and things like that. But okay, like we talked about, you can't take away everything. The other team's got players too. They're going to make some plays. But overall, I thought his approach on the defensive side of the ball was the right approach. He let his front four do the work. He didn't give Rodgers and company too many easy zone completions. Oh, you can just pick us apart. And he put some pressure on his DBs, and his DBs answered the bell for sure.
And so for the first time ever, I don't know if you've heard this, a team will be playing in its home stadium.
Yo ho, the Pirates' life for me.
So we have to finish this with the talk of Aaron Rodgers in the future in Green Bay, because he seemed despondent afterwards. And why wouldn't he be? He just lost a huge game against Tom Brady, a game where he felt like he probably played pretty well, but some unfortunate circumstances, you're going home. And you did not reach the Super Bowl. You lost in the championship game once again. What's your gut telling you on how this works out, at least next year? Do you think Aaron Rodgers is a Green Bay Packer when next season begins?
I don't think it's a definite. I mean, like, if you made me bet one or the other, I would probably say yes. But I don't know. I just feel like there's trouble brewing. I do.
Let's take a
Wanna hear
listen
about
to
it?
exactly
Yeah, I got some more
what
things
he
I wanna
said.
say. Yeah.
What he said after the game yesterday.
So how do you go on from here? I mean, you kind of hit on some of the realities a minute ago. So how do you go on from here? How do you take the next step?
Yeah, Bill, it's a good question. I don't know. I really don't. There's a lot of unknowns going into this offseason now. And I'm going to have to take some time away for sure and clear my head and just kind of see what's going on with everything. But it's pretty tough right now, especially thinking about the guys that may or may not be here next year. There's always change. That's the only constant in this business.
He was ready to say that. He wanted. You could kind of tell he wanted to talk about his future, and he wanted to kind of make it seem uncertain, which I think it is here.
I don't doubt it. I mean, he's out of this world smart. You know, like a lot of the good quarterbacks are. He's a thinker.
Does he have reason to be upset with what they did with Jordan Love?
What? I mean, to me, yesterday epitomizes all of it. It's him carrying the squad, team doing nothing for him as usual.
But in their defense,
right.
He goes, you just had an MVP season. You didn't need another wide receiver.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, great. You got an MVP season. You guys are just leaving Super Bowl trophies out there for everybody else to have, though. So, it's the dumbest crap ever. Really, I don't know what else to say. First off, he's heartbroken. His soul's broken. He's very smart. He realizes the scope of what everybody's talking about today. We just talked about it. Everybody, Brady's awesome, Rodgers sucks. That's all everybody's going to say, which is like just a bunch of bullcrap, as we know. He severely outplayed Tom Brady in the football game. Yeah, there's no other way to say that. He did, but he's going to lose once again, And here it is. What is this, his 5th championship game loss, right? He's only been in one championship game, and I'll say it every time, where he's been on the better team, and that was the one he won. I mean, there's been no other championship game where his team is even in the class of the other team they're playing. This one was probably the closest.
Okay.
And
Kyle Wilson says the number 5 seed in the conference is a better team than the number 1 seed.
Yeah, I know. I've been saying that for a long time. Yeah. I mean. Listen, you can go
back. A team that
back.
can go on the road and win where they won.
Yeah.
In the postseason.
You can go back to week 6 or 7. I mean, Pete'll back me up. I was saying then, man, when the Bucs play good, they look like they might be the best team in football. I mean, you just said the skill positions.
Yep.
It's not even close. It's not even close. I heard somebody in the pregame go, Green Bay might have as good a skill position guys as Tampa Bay. I turned it off at that moment and said, I'll be back during kickoff.
Yeah.
Because I just said, I can't watch that. That's the dumbest comment ever.
Did you turn your dad back on, though? Or
No,
did you just
that was the other channel. Sorry. But, yeah, I mean, that's insane. So, okay, what do you want? I don't even know what to say. He's so sick of the organization letting him down. And he's probably at a point of just going, I'm just sick of supporting them, and they don't support me. He's looking at Brady with all the weapons. He's looking at Mahomes with all the weapons. And they drafted nothing to help them out in this football game. They're in the Super Bowl window. The day of we're going to draft a quarterback for the future and let him mature, that is over. Sorry, that is so 1988. It's disgusting. Get out of here. We're seeing young quarterbacks all over the place in the playoffs this year. They're everywhere. We don't have to let them mature for anything anymore. That's dumb. You wasted assets while you had a guy and you were in the Super Bowl window, and they didn't go for it. That's where I think if they have an owner in Green Bay, things are different. The owner is going to go, wait, we got a diamond here. We got to put some other jewels around him here. We can't just let him be a diamond in the middle of a haystack.
Yeah. So here, the 2 picks they traded away were the 30th and 136th.
Man, they could have used a corner last night.
So guess what? A corner was taken with the 30th pick.
Right, and all the good corners after it, too.
So the Miami Dolphins took Noah Igbenogany out of Illinois.
Out of Auburn.
Auburn. He was
Yes,
out of Auburn. That's
right.
right. He was okay.
Yeah.
He wasn't anything special.
No.
The 136th pick, that ended up going to the Rams. They took tight end Bryson Hopkins, who played only 2 offensive snaps, so it really wouldn't have helped him. Wouldn't have helped him at all.
There was a lot of good
Final
corners
say.
on the board.
There were.
There was a lot of good
Chase
wide receivers
Claypool
on
was
the
still
board.
out there.
There was a lot of good defensive tackles on the board.
Yeah.
But either way, I don't know what else to say. But I would imagine that's the way he feels a
Yeah.
little bit. And what point? So like, if you're, let me ask you this, and like your honest answer. Like if you're an Aaron Rodgers, at what point do you go, wait, okay, they drafted a quarterback. They're gonna get rid of me at some point.
Right.
So why don't I just kind of tell them when I'm ready to get rid of? Like is he just gonna sit back and be like, hey, you guys just let me know when you're gonna f me over, and then we'll talk a little more. Or maybe he just goes, no, I'll control the situation.
What if Green Bay did this?
Yeah.
What if they traded Jordan Love? Not unheard of.
It's not.
Josh Rosen got traded a year
Sure.
after. Of course, he played, but
But like, what are you gonna trade him for right now?
but like his stock for Jordan Love, like Josh Rosen's stock went down, right? After
It
a
went
year
down.
where it wasn't very good.
But he got to play a little at least too.
Well, yeah, but
Right.
but it caused his stock to go down.
I don't
Jordan
think
Love,
you're not gonna
like
get-
his stock has. Why would it have gone down?
I know, but he was a lightning rod of a pick anyways. I think there's a lot of people that didn't like him in the draft either. I was one that liked him. I think there's a lot that don't. We'll see. It's 50-50 on that. He's not going to get a trade market at this point.
Why?
Because
He could.
I don't think he's going to get anything special. Not for we drafted a first-round pick, and here you go. Here's our first-round pick for what? A 4th rounder, a 3rd rounder? I just don't think that's going to fly.
Why would his value go down that? Because okay, if Green Bay didn't trade up to get him last year,
Right.
where do you think he realistically would have gone? 2nd round somewhere around there? No.
No, yeah, I think he probably would have gone if Green Bay doesn't trade for. Yes, I think somewhere in the 2nd round he gets drafted. Yes.
So I don't know why he would
because
his stock
we didn't
would
get
have
to see
fallen.
preseason.
Well, yeah.
Or we're going to trade.
He had
for
a year
him.
learning under Aaron Rodgers.
You're going to trade for him to be your backup or what? I mean, that's what I just.
I'm just saying, if you're a team that
Right.
there's some good quarterbacks out there. If there's a team that misses out on one of the good quarterbacks this year, and the Green Bay Packers say we want to trade you Jordan Love for a 2nd-round pick, maybe you do it.
I mean, sure. I just don't think there's going to be a team that's going to say that. I don't.
Because it would be a reversal of why did you trade up to get him then?
Well, it'd be
right? You
that,
obviously
and
saw
I think there's
something
going to
in
be. I think he's a guy that's very raw, and he's looked at as a project too.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to command it. He wasn't a top 10 pick like Josh Rosen either, and of course, they weren't looking to draft another guy to replace him anyways.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't listen.
I don't
know. And listen, if they could do that, that'd be great. That'd be all good. It still doesn't make up that nothing from last year's draft helped them win this game yesterday.
Okay.
And that's what he's probably sick of. Nor did anything in free agency help him either. And I'm sure he's sick of that. And then yet he sees Brady, who had a team of all-stars around him. They signed Antonio Brown halfway through the year. He was probably like, what? He's got all-stars. Now they're going to give him another one? So I'm sure he's just annoyed by all of that. Rodgers can go away right now and just go, man, the team has failed me repeatedly, whether it's play on the field, decisions by coaches, draft picks, whatever. And I think that's probably what's stewing in his brain, his soul, and everything today.
So they lose, and now we have to bury them. We have to bury them in the ground
You
because
don't
their
ever
season is
bury my little
That's
Aaron
true.
Rodgers.
All right, well, we'll keep him above ground. Okay. But the team is buried now. It is time for Requiem for a Team, Green Bay Packers edition. Here lie the Green Bay Packers, a team that plays in such a weak division, by the way, that they should consider scheduling some tougher non-conference opponents so that they're prepared when they get into the playoffs, right? It's like a college team.
Right. Got to
It's
play
like,
the
let's-
Lions twice a year.
Exactly. That's not a good tune-up for when we have to take on Tom Brady. All right. An ending we all did hate. Aaron Rodgers not allowed to create. But Packer fans, don't shed a tear. You have nothing to fear. I'm sure Jordan Love will be great. I'm sure he's going to be good.
I like
don't
it.
Worry, don't
Good
worry.
One. Goodbye, Green Bay.
Or he'll be traded. Who knows?
Well done.
Who knows?
Well
All right.
done.
So it's sad that we have to bury the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers, but they'll be back. Maybe not together, but they'll be back.
I hope we broke that game down good.
I don't know. I think we did.
We did everything there. I know I was emotional about it.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. I get emotional. You know that about a lot of. But I will just say this to end it, and let's move on to the other game. Pete's going, no. I wear my heart on my sleeve just about all facets of my life. But I don't think I was ever as hurt for an athlete as I was for Aaron Rodgers last night.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think ever. I don't think ever after a sporting event or anything did I ever walk away going,
You were an athlete. Did you feel it as though you had
You know
lost?
what's funny? I told my dad on the phone last night, I said, I feel like that's about as crushed as I've been watching a football game since I've watched you play. Like, that's the way I felt. I always feel for those guys, those kind of guys. You know, listen, I felt like that for Brady when they lost the 2007 Super Bowl to the Giants. I just went, man, he was just this close. He played this amazing year. He was great in the Super Bowl against a good defense. And, I always feel for those guys and those moments and things like that. And I just get so sick of the constant negative narrative around Aaron Rodgers at times. It just bothers me. So I felt for him last night.
Aaron Rodgers, still some drama there. Hopefully he can come back, maybe with the Green Bay Packers. We will see. We spent about an hour on that game.
We really
that means
did.
we got about on this game, which, we don't need that much time.
We don't actually.
Chiefs were the better team. They beat the Bills. They're going to the Super Bowl.
See you at Super Bowl Sunday, guys. Good pod.
Unbuttoned. Paul's going to be on Wednesday. All right.
No. I don't think you're that far off.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, let's be real here. The Chiefs are in another class of them. It just shows you that Buffalo's not quite there yet, and it just shows you too. You know, Kansas City's of evolution. Like, oh, Buffalo played us this way the first time, so we'll run the ball. But they realize, we're not a running team. We're not going to, build on that. We need to get better at the short passes and things like that. And you saw last night. I mean, Mahomes really never threw the ball deep the whole game, other than one throw, right?
He has not thrown the ball deep all playoffs.
Because everybody's scared of the deep pass. So they've grown this short, pick-you-apart offense now that makes them, like Brady in New England, Drew Brees is surgical, where they can just go, fine, you're going to take away all these deep throws, we'll throw it for 6, throw it for 8, and we'll just pick you apart that way.
Throw it for 5 and have Tyreek Hill run 70.
66, right.
Yeah, whatever he did, yeah.
That was insane.
What's the number right here? So Mahomes has yet to complete a deep pass in the postseason. He's yet to complete a deep pass.
Wow.
In the season, only 0 for 2. I guess he's only thrown a couple.
I was going to say, I don't really remember one in Cleveland. Last night we had one on the first drive, right? Remember, and Tyreek dropped the little post corner.
Right, yeah.
That was the only deep ball I remember throughout the game. But who cares? Doesn't matter. They're still making you defend the whole field by the way they're calling plays and the formations. And then, yet they always have some underneath concept to go, oh, wait, you're playing way off? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, we got Travis Kelce under here. Now that everybody's deep and you have one linebacker underneath, we're just going to let Kelce abuse this linebacker, and you can't stop that. They have so many ways to do it. That's what's impressive. They're just such a tough, physical, rise to the challenge football team. That's what I love about Kansas City.
Well, it's so weird. It's like you hear for years, like you're not going to just turn it on. You can't just turn it on
Right.
once you get to the playoffs. If you're not playing well, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs they just turn it on.
They are. They're like a youth sports coach's nightmare because they are that way. You're right. I mean, throughout the whole year.
You made me a liar. You did turn it on.
You did turn it on. You did wait to the championship game to play a complete football game.
Do you think Andy Reid is one of the best at taking his great players and putting them in positions where other teams don't have a chance? I'm thinking like the speed of Tyreek Hill, the speed of Mecole Hardman as well, and just the mismatch that Travis Kelce is.
Yes.
It's like basically you have these advantages, and Andy Reid is so good at making sure that he can use them as advantages. Like you're not going to take Tyreek Hill, it seems like, out of a game in the playoffs. You're not going to take Travis Kelce out of a game in the playoffs.
They make it too hard on you. One, he always attacks. It's never like, oh, they're doing this, so let me tuck my tail behind me and change my game plan. He never really changes for anybody. He gives them schematical advantages first off, with all the movements and motions and different formations, and he coaches and has created a culture a lot like we talked about with the Bucs, with their head coach. Oh, this is a big game? We're going to go out and let it loose. Yeah. That's what we do. They don't go, oh, it's a big game. We got to be really detailed and make sure we get right in the right spots. And, oh, coach told me to go through this check. They're not like that. That lends them to play free and fast in these type of football games. And then, yes, he's a great game planner to find a few wrinkles to get those guys going. And he never lets you off the hook with them, I think is what we're saying. Like, he's never like, oh, well, they're probably going to take Tyreek Hill away, so let me figure out other ways to get that. He just goes, no. If they try to take him away, we'll do this.
Yeah.
And if they try to take him away, we'll run him on this route. And they try to change it that way. So they keep the pressure on you that way. And really, at the end of the day, you just saw Kansas City on both sides of the ball, for lack of a better way to say it, just has a few more men, ballers, alphas, whatever you want to say, that are made for that type of football game right there.
Travis Kelce, 13 receptions, ties a playoff record for a tight end with Shannon Sharp and Kellen Winslow. Tyreek Hill, 172 yards receiving. That is a Chiefs playoff record. Logan Haynes, 5, wants to take a closer look at that Tyreek.
Yeah.
70-yard slant play. Maybe can break down some of the things you just said, what Andy Reid can do to get Tyreek Hill open. And this was in response. I mean, this was a killer for the Bills because they were getting crushed on social media for, I don't think they knew it at the time, but for kicking those 2 field goals at the end of the half and then beginning of the second half. And then what did the Chiefs do to answer? 4 plays, 75 yards, touchdown, the big play coming right here, Chris.
Yep, right. And so here we go. We got a little trips left formation to that side, right? So it's Kelce. They got Hill in the slot. It's really hard to get in this formation and double both of these guys, too. That's what you got to remember. They're both next to each other. So, defenses are going to be like, hey, let's put 4 guys over here just for these 2 guys, and we'll figure out how to defend the rest of the team with our 7 guys on their 9 guys. No, that's not going to work. You're going to be in a mismatch. So these are the little things he does. Brings back the back into the backfield. Now he knows what kind of coverage it is within that, right? And it's a man-to-man coverage. And let me just go back one more time and rewind that one more time if you can, Pete. But so let it go. Darrell Williams back in the backfield, right? Goes across to the other side. And I believe this is an RPO, right? It's either an RPO or some sort of play action pass or something like that. But that's the bind they put you into. And that speaks to your point about what Reid does for them. So let's run the ball, but put Tyreek here. And the guy we're putting in the bind has to stop the run or stop Tyreek. Which one does he want to do? Oh, he wanted to go to the run that time? You keep your eyes on him, Mahomes, as we go across. And then when you see him go too aggressive to the run, there'll be a hole there to throw to Tyreek. Oh, and if he just sits there, then hand the ball off. And now they have one extra guy. So that's where, to answer your question, that's where Andy Reid's great.
Yeah.
He goes, wait, this can put them in a bind. And now how can I make it even worse with the personnel I have? Oh, let me put this guy here. And now they're really in a bad spot. And that's where Tyreek's special.
Yeah.
And that's why he's the number 1 weapon in football. And I think would still probably be my first pick as a receiver. It's, I know I said DK, I think, during the middle of the year or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm cheating on him. I've gone
unchained. It would be unchanged. Tyreek at the top. Devontae may be he may be able to get in the top 10. We'll have to see about that. But yeah, it's almost like watching this game. I was like, this reminds me of a basketball team in so many ways. Some of the plays they design. But it's like if they're down 9-0 in the first quarter, it's like a basketball team being down 9-0 in the first quarter. It's irrelevant. Whatever happens in the first quarter is irrelevant.
No,
it doesn't matter.
But seriously though, when they were down now 9-0, there was zero panic.
I thought it was a requirement. I thought it was this is our game plan. It's like you script your first, series.
And then
we get down 9-0, good.
Right.
It's going to plan.
Right.
Now we come back.
And just unleash the kitchen sink on you. But it's a team first off that double-digit, deficits mean nothing to them.
Nothing.
You don't care. And after you saw that first drive to where they scored a touchdown and went down and made it 9-7. I don't know about you, but I was kind of just like, this doesn't look good for Buffalo. That was way too easy.
Yeah.
And really, from that point on, at 9-7, I really kind of sat there and just went,
well, it's like they gifted him the touchdown with the fumbled punt.
Exactly right.
And then you go right back to Hardman, and he gets the touchdown, then the 50-yard run, and they're off.
They're off and running. That's it. That's exactly right. They're just special. They have such a knack for big plays, and they really thrive in these type of moments.
So we knew what the Chiefs' offense can do in the postseason. They proved it once again. Maybe more credit goes to the Chiefs' defense here, and so this one comes from Orion Chiselwit, who chimes in quite often with us here on Unbuttoned on PFT as well. We thank him for that.
Yep, we do.
For Self-Scout Thyself, you've been waxing poetic about Josh Allen's improved ability to pick up blitzes over the past few weeks. What did Spagnuolo dial up yesterday that led to Josh struggling in these situations? So Allen versus the blitz was 10 for 19, 88 yards, did have a touchdown, but also was sacked one time.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it looked like Spags fooled them a few times. I didn't come away also to like what we talked about with Andy Reid with the movement and the schematic. Like, I thought Buffalo was a little stagnant last night. I honestly thought we might see more bells and whistles out of their offense in the football game altogether. I think two things jumped out to me about it. And I haven't really gotten to really study this film yet. So for our man Chenoweth, what is it? Orion Cheselwit, right? Like, I'll
might
hit
be a
more of
pseudonym.
it.
Might not be his real name.
I doubt it is. But I'll get to it on Wednesday's podcast and give you a little bit better feel. But two things. And I think, I heard Nate Burleson hit on it at halftime a little bit. The Chiefs secondary was phenomenal in the football game. I mean, we saw plays where he extended the plays for 7 and 8 seconds and nobody ever got open. Romo showed it repeatedly through the second half. The secondary is very talented, and I think what we saw too, at least in my opinion, towards the end of the year, is Buffalo's skill guys are good. They're not special. They have one special guy in Diggs. The rest of the guys are just good guys. John Brown was non-existent last night. Cole Beasley is good in his little role. But I think what you saw with Buffalo last night, they need another guy. They needed somebody else. I mean, Mahomes has Hill and Kelsey. Diggs Josh Allen just has Diggs. The other guys are good, but they're just other guys. That's who they are. So I think there's a need there. But here's the biggest thing to me, Ahmed. I was just amazed that Kansas City kind of dominated them up front, pass protection-wise. And then when he tried to get out of the pocket, I mean, Frank Clark and Chris Jones and all of them, I mean, they were breathing down his neck. I mean, they were right there to be had. I mean, they did a good job of containing him and staying on his ass to where he didn't get to get out of the pocket and then set up, right? That's where you see Josh Allen become scary. He runs out of the pocket, and now he sets up, and now he gets to manipulate it with his eyes, but more importantly, he gets to get his legs underneath him to where he can throw a rifle through any window there is. And they never really let him do that last night.
He had to take off and run.
He had to take off, run, or he had to run full speed and try to throw the ball like that on the run, and that's very difficult to do.
Juan Thornhill, someone you wanted to single out, 5 targets in coverage, just allowed 1 catch, 6 yards, 4 passes defended. Yeah, when they blitzed Allen, he only had 4.6 yards per attempt, and so he was
so rare. He's the best quarterback in football against the blitz.
Exactly.
All year long. And it's really a tribute to Spagnuolo. They're a team and a unit on that defensive side of the ball that just got better and better throughout the year too. And they did
last year too. Remember that?
They did. I know. They do every year. That's what that's where I give them a lot of credit. And the one thing they do is they throw their bodies around with just no care at all. They could care less. Coach, you said run through the steel wall. We're going to try to do it. No problem. But the thing that jumps out to me about them, it's like where practice makes perfect too, is they're a feast or famine team. That's what I call them. That's what like my old coaches would have called them. It's going to be all out blitz where they have to play man to man. Right? So they've got to do that so much that they've become very good at man-to-man. They really know how to play their techniques, what to expect in certain down and distances and formations. And then Spagnuolo also gives them the great credit of disguising and doing crazy crap too, to make them feel and look better too. So not every play has to be, I got to stop you and can't let you. Every now and then they get a break where they go, I just got to drop into this zone, and we got a bunch of crazy going, and now I can kind of just be a football player and read the quarterback's eyes and watch it. So it's a great defense to be a part of, and they've really mastered it that way.
So what do you think the Bills moving forward? This is a giant step for them.
Huge.
Defense was not as good as they wanted, but offense took a step forward. Stephon Diggs was huge for them.
Yep.
What do they need to do? Because I heard you talking about it with Mike on the show, and he was not poo-pooing, but the idea that, they're definitely going to be back. And you can never say anything definite about the NFL.
Right.
But I will say, they're in a better spot to be back than any other team, I think, outside of the Kansas City Chiefs.
I would agree.
You got the quarterback, and you've got an offense that's got a good philosophy, Brian Daboll.
Yep, got some good young offensive linemen that are good.
So what do they need to do? Do they need to develop more of a running attack, of a threat of a running attack? What do they need to do defensively? Because I think what they are right now is good, but no shame that you're not quite up to the Chiefs' level yet.
No, they're not up to that level yet, definitely. I mean, we saw these deficiencies throughout the year to where they did a great job hiding them and doing things like that. I really think it just comes down to the Jimmies and the Joes. They need a few extra Jimmies and Joes. They need a few extra studs, like we started off the segment talking about the Chiefs. There's really no guy in the front seven where you go, oh, he's a handful. But you look at Kansas City and you go, well, they got two of them, Frank Clark and Chris Jones. And then other good players around them. You know, there's no guy. They have Tre'Davious White, but as I always tell people, they're a big zone team in Buffalo, right? So they need another corner, in my opinion. They need another big-time defensive lineman, in my opinion. I would expect them to get back to the running game. I don't know where that went wrong this year. I do think they're too talented up front to not have a little bit of a run game, and you have a quarterback who has either the biggest arm or second biggest arm in the sport, and play action pass would work well with him. I mean, it would be dangerous. You know, so, but I think, you know, between that, they do have a Zach Moss and see how that goes, but I think they do need another legit weapon on the outside. We just saw in too many big games this year, Allen and Diggs got it done, but as you saw, that's just not enough in these games. They need one other guy. You got to have it. Oh, Evans isn't open? I got Godwin. Okay, we'll work Godwin today. Oh, and then, you know, there's a Gronk, whatever. You need everybody needs a Robin to their Batman. And that to me would be the things I would look for. Difference-making defensive lineman, another cover corner, and I think another stud wide receiver.
So knowing your deficiencies in this game, and this is how I'll wrap it up, were you surprised at the fact that they kicked some field goals? Rav Buffalo says, were the Bills too conservative with settling for field goals at the end of the half rather than going for broke in this game? So, you know the deficiencies. He knows the deficiencies. Maybe Sean McDermott doesn't want to admit that there are some deficiencies on defense because he's a defensive-minded guy. But were you surprised by that? Do you think those were the right call?
Well, okay. So I think the one at the end of the half I don't have a huge issue with. You know, I understand. You're right. You have to push the envelope at some point. It's Kansas City.
You know, they did early in the game. They went for fourth down right at midfield.
I know.
So it's like at that point you're like, wow, they know what they got to do.
And they haven't been scared all year long. You know, I just think they got into it's 4th and 2, right? It's right before the half. Their defense has played pretty good. It was hard work to get down here. And I think they just thought, let's go in with something positive at the half instead of being down 21-9 and being like, man, we're in deep. You know, so I don't have as much of an issue with that. It is the first half. So we're not like, I don't believe in chasing points, you know, at 21-9 or things like you just got to play football and keep the pressure on them from that. That one is not as bad to me. You know, the one, I guess, later on is the one then where I would go, that one I don't agree with, right? You know, what do we got? 4th and 3 on the Kansas City 8. It's 24-15 at this point, right? No, it's 24-12. It's 24-12. And now we know your defense can't stop them. It's official. It's the third quarter. They just marched right down the field on you and got a field goal. And you're lucky they didn't score a touchdown. So now we got to go for it and push the envelope. That was the one I had the issue with. The one before the half to make it 21-12, I can deal with. 24-12 now. All right, it's third quarter, and it's Mahomes, and it doesn't look good. And you're smart, and you've been a coach for a lot of games.
Yeah.
Let's ratchet up the intensity that way.
And then you kick the field goal, and like I mentioned, 4 plays, 75 yards.
It's
the
over.
Chiefs
and now the game's
score a
over.
touchdown. You
Exactly
go, well,
right.
We just needed that
Game
touchdown.
was over.
But realistically, it didn't probably have an impact on the game because you think, what's going to happen? You go for both those fourth downs. Maybe you get one of them.
Yeah.
Maybe you score the touchdown on one of them. So you end up with 7 points instead of the 6 points that you got from the 2 field goals.
Right.
So you would have liked to have seen them. In retrospect, if you know you're going to give up 38,
Sure.
you got to go for those. But
it's a great year.
defensible, great year.
Great year. And all we can say is this. You and I were watching the game, and it was clear who the better team was.
Correct.
That wasn't even a debate. And I know, listen, and let's just say this too. To me, did you feel clear in the first game too? I felt clear that the Bucs were the better team. Was I disappointed that Green Bay? I wrote, and I said in my breakdown last week, Pete can attest to this. After a Week 6 matchup, I wrote, this is a bad matchup for the Packers. The Bucs will win this 9 out of 10 times. Yesterday was one of the times.
Yeah.
That's where I got frustrated by it. I think the Bucs were the better team, but they made some mistakes. Brady throwing the interceptions and things that he left the door open, and Green Bay didn't capitalize, and of course had some bad breaks.
I don't know, because
what do you feel there?
I look at the Packers game and I think, okay, you had Devontae Adams drop a touchdown.
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen. That's normally not going to happen. you have the weird defensive setup at the end of the first half that gives up a touchdown that you should not give up. And then you have a big hit, credit to the Bucs, to start the second half that results in a fumble and an 8-yard touchdown drive one play later. I was like, those are three
monumental.
Pretty monumental. And you can't take away from what the Bucs did on those plays. But, Devontae Adams dropped it. Brain fart by the defensive scheme of the Packers.
Right.
I'm like, those are three huge plays, and you take those plays out.
Yeah.
Of course, you can always do that for any game, but I was like, but those are weird mistakes.
They are weird mistakes.
Those
it's
are
not
weird
like
mistakes.
It's not like you beat us into submission. We
Yes.
did stuff that we do all the time, and we just messed it up.
And despite that, it was only a one-score game, and
so
Packers
you're saying
dominated.
it was?
I thought the Packers
really
were
maybe the better team or
I thought
close
so.
to it.
I thought so, and for most of that game, I thought
Yeah.
played better.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they were both good.
It's tough when they're both good. You're right. I sometimes tend to favor the team that I feel like was the more physical one.
Yeah.
And maybe don't think about things like that way. But you're right.
Sure.
It's very close. Definitely closer than the Chiefs-Bills game. We know who was better there, and the other one was obviously debatable.
So we have to do it. I'm sorry, we have to bury
It's okay.
Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
My boy Blue.
Here lie the Buffalo Bills, a team whose offense and defense both took the next step. The offense just happened to be in a different direction than the defense. That step was forward and backwards. Sean McDermott, we bid you adieu. Kicking on fourth down might need a review. But Josh Allen is here in Chris's top tier. I'm so happy for your big boy Blue.
Thank you.
There he is, Josh
Blue.
Allen.
My boy Blue.
Yeah, he did. He is now in, like you always had him in a special category, but now he is in a lot of people's special category.
I think he is. I think
Josh Allen has proved the naysayers wrong.
I believe so. I think the world saw enough of him. And then even like last night, even though the game wasn't perfect, you could see.
He was the best thing they had.
Exactly. He was the only thing they had. He had 88 yards rushing. He had 290 yards throwing the football. Yes, he's a superstar. That's why I said, they need one more guy. Just one more. It doesn't have to be a superstar. It could just be a really good number 2 or a 1A or whatever. But I think that'll bring him into another stratosphere too, and their team into another stratosphere to where they could be scary. I bet you they don't draft a quarterback in the end of the first round this year.
I mean, probably
They try
not.
to go all in on Josh Allen.
But those naysayers will always come back if you start struggling, because they always want to be right. I always want to be like, see, I was right.
Right.
I was right after
yes.
all.
Right.
He's making some dumb mistakes. He's got no accuracy. The Bills are done, but they're good. They'll be back in similar positions in the future. And now we have the first ever Super Bowl between the last two Super Bowl winning quarterbacks.
That's amazing.
First time it's ever happened.
It really is.
Early line, the Chiefs opened at
3.5.
-3.5.
Yeah.
It has already been bet down, though, to Chiefs -3.
Ooh.
So some early money on Tom Brady, the GOAT, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, it is. Just right off the bat, I'll tell you this is the first thing that concerns me. I mean, Kansas City doesn't have either of their starting tackles against this pass rush.
Well, Fisher's out. Schwartz
has been out.
Be back.
He might be back, right? We don't know yet. So that would be huge if he's out. But that's going to be the key, one of the keys of the game. I mean, it really will be. This will be the total game of really, the Buck. It's going to be like JPP when he used to play Brady in the Super Bowl. He's going to be fed the whole week. We have to get to the quarterback. If you can't get to the quarterback, we can't win the game.
Yeah.
We have no chance unless our front four gets. And that's when D linemen become rabid, scary monsters and
we can
take
win
over.
this.
We can
win the
this
Super Bowl
if we take over.
Yeah.
And they start getting like that. And then the offensive line's not quite ready for that intensity, especially when you haven't played a game the week before and things like that, to where that'll be something to watch for. But on the other side, Kansas City made Brady do some really dumb things the first time around because they pressured him. And we know they can get pressure with their front four or their creative blitzes too. So I'm really excited. There's a lot of awesome. You have really, again, and people out there listening, you tell me, are they the two best wide receiving cores in football? The two most explosive weapons in football? It's up there.
Yeah.
It's in the combo.
Yeah.
They got some stud defensive linemen on both sides of the ball, some playmaking DBs on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, this game is not lacking star power.
It is not
It's got
lacking
a lot of
stack power,
stars.
and it's a really interesting matchup altogether.
Offensively and defensively, so you're going to get more into. You'll have time to get into the Super Bowl. We'll have time
we
to
got
get
time.
there. That's an early preview right there. But before we go, I do want to tip my cap, a moment of appreciation for my second favorite NFL player of all time. Number one's Barry Sanders, always will be number one. And number two, Matthew Stafford. It looks like 12 years in Detroit is enough for any man, at least with the Lions. And it is apparently for Matthew Stafford, mutually agreeing to part ways.
Good.
From the team. And so looks like they're going to pursue a trade. He is, I looked this up, fourth quarter comebacks. He has 31. Only 3 active quarterbacks have more than him.
Brady's
right
one.
now. Brady
Rodgers,
is one. He's number
another.
one. Rodgers is not on there.
Well, okay.
He's had too many leads. It's a little bit of a,
Yeah, it's all
a
right.
stat, like you got to be on a bad team. But no, Brady's number one.
Yeah.
Breeze is number 2.
Okay.
Roethlisberger is number 3.
Good ones.
All 3 have played at least 5 more years than Matthew Stafford.
Yeah. Well,
He's the best
Stafford's
thing to
been
happen
down
to
a
the
lot.
Lions. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he'll find a team out there, and I will root for him, unless he goes to the Bears. If he goes to any other team, I will root for him.
I agree, and Matt Stafford's a guy that I'm rooting for big time too. They're one of those guys that I feel like we pride ourselves on these kind of guys in the podcast. Way better than the public gives him respect for. Really awesome. Never had a support system around him really. And I would think there's going to be some teams clamoring for his services. It's one of the greatest arms, the greatest throwers, passers in the history of football. That's how talented he is.
If you were the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes.
And I looked it up. Stafford's 32.
I know, which is another amazing thing.
He's not that
Matt
old.
Stafford
He's been
literally
durable.
has 8 or 10 more years in his career left if he wants.
Would you rather have Matthew Stafford or Trevor Lawrence?
I would still go with Trevor Lawrence at this point, just for what you're building, just to build you can get a Trevor Lawrence, build with a young core, really build something special. He's not been beat up, and there's still an aura around him. Stafford, he has been beat up a little bit, all right? There is going to be some naysayers, and if it does turn negative at all, people are going to go, well, that's what you get. You brought Matt Stafford here. You could have had Trevor Lawrence. So, no, I would tell them to go Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, and you got to factor in the cap hits and all that. Rookie contract for a quarterback is very favorable because you can fill out the rest of your roster a little easier that way.
His contract situation is very doable for this.
Stafford?
Yeah, it's not going to hurt Detroit. It's going to be very easy on all parties, and I would think that would add to the market too.
And this is a topic for another podcast, but it is kind of interesting. Are we starting to get into what the NBA is seeing, where these superstar players are kind of realizing their power?
Yes.
And now quarterbacks could realize that power.
Right. Antonio Brown started a few years ago.
Yeah.
I feel like.
And now all the quarterbacks. You got Deshaun Watson, maybe Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford right now.
Right. They're just saying, hey, they're going LeBron, or any of that. They're just going, I'm not going to succumb to just the luck that my organization runs things the right way. That's what they're saying. They're going to go, no, that. You guys can't run it the right way. I'm going to go somewhere that can, and we'll see what happens.
I've got 10 years maybe at most if it goes really well.
And everybody judges these people on this. So, these quarterbacks and the NFL players have realized they have more power than they ever realized. And, certain players like Antonio Brown and other guys, I think, have opened their eyes to that, along with the narrative they hear around them. And I think the NBA players, they see that and then making the moves, and it improves their brand when they win championships and do all of those things. I think this is going to be something we're going to continue to see as we go into the future with top-tier quarterbacks who aren't happy.
Oh, and Pete put in a note here to cheer me up.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good. He said, at least you still have Matt Prater. Which
Boom.
is true.
Prater.
The third best Lion of all time, outside of Barry Sanders, Matt Stafford. Actually, maybe then Jason Hansen and then Matt Prater. So he might be fourth all time. All right.
We did it.
Now you just have 2 weeks.
2 weeks to
talk
break
about
a Super
the big game.
Bowl. That's right.
You're not going to travel, though.
No, we're not. Nobody's really going. I don't know. We're just going to sit here and talk football and go through it. And I don't even know what we're going to talk about on the Wednesday podcast. At some point, we're going to deep dive the matchup and really break it down. I just don't know whether Pete wants to do that this Wednesday or next Wednesday leading to the Super Bowl. But we might do some stuff. And then get Phil. Big Phil will be here, and we'll just talk game and what we saw from last week. I'm going to really study these films tomorrow and see if I can find a few other nuances from Championship Sunday, too.
You've got Mahomes versus Brady. That's all you need to say.
The Bucs.
You're done.
At home.
Ready for the game.
Peace. All right, everybody, be good. Tune in on Wednesday. Ahmed, you the man. Appreciate you driving the ship, as always. Everybody, be good out there. Talk to you Wednesday. Clap it up.
Clap it up.
Yo, what's up? Come on, man. Subscribe on YouTube to Chris Sims' Unbuttoned podcast. I need you. Please hit the subscribe button, please.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.